What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Season 22, Season of the Witches, finally upon us, which means new seasonal activities. This year, we got two of them in Savathun's Spire and then our Altar of Summoning. This video is gonna go over everything you need to know about Savathun's Spire here, the different encounters, the secret chests on the way. This will be a rotating weekly, so there will be different kind of puzzles and bosses along the way in future weeks, but the same base of the activity will be the same from week to week. We have a battle, a little jumping puzzle, a battle with another boss, a jumping puzzle, and then our final battle, which seems like there is three different options. We had a couple where we had the Valusan Hive, the Technocrat where there's a couple different bosses, and the mechanics seem to be pretty similar throughout here. So like I said, we're going to cover everything in this guide for you, making sure you get that loot fast and easy, and all of it for this new season. So, when we load right into Savathun's Spire, we come into this room this week. So far, this is the first room that we start out in. Now, like I said before, it is going to be the same kind of base battle in each of the rooms. This one, the second one, as well as the final one, with just little different things that happen, especially with these crystals that you see here. We have three different versions. We have an arc, a void, and a solar. Now, the three different versions make sure that you do three different mechanics. So with the arc crystals, you have to walk up to them, punch them, and then the other crystals around will show you where they are. You walk up to them. Once you have that charge from the first one, you punch the crystal to charge it up as well. You get a rebuff on your timer, and you proceed to the next crystals until they're all lit up with that arc charge and explode. Now for the solar ones, this will apply Scorch to your Guardian as you carry it, but it just is like one of those heavy objects where you carry it from point A to point B. You just gotta watch out because, like I said, it applies Scorch, so you can die pretty easily with this, but it's just transporting it from 2 points. And lastly, we have the Void Crystals, which again, these might be the easiest in my opinion. All you gotta do is walk up to them and shoot them or break them in some manner. There is a little protective bubble around them, so if you're not inside that little protective bubble, you're not going to be able to break them. So just make sure you walk inside of that, shoot the crystals, and break all of them. This will make whatever enemies that we have in that room become immune, or unimmune I should say. They were immune, now you can do damage on them, and it's basically just a rinse and repeat for this first room here with doing one of those three tasks. After you do that, you stand on a plate usually, and you will get one of our artifacts that we have had in the past, with being the Scythe from Season of the Haunt. We have the Synaptic Spear as well as a Void Crystal. So our Solar Arc and Void, depending on which crystals that you have to melee, shoot, or carry around, that depends on the artifact that you get inside of this room. And then once you progress far enough, we get to our first jumping puzzle, which is super easy and pretty linear. You just follow the path that it takes you on until you get to this room right here, where you see some hive on the wall. There will be a symbol, a little disc above one of the hive heads. It is glowing purple. Once you shoot it with a void weapon, the Hive Rune symbol will kind of appear. So this week we had void and solar runes that we had to shoot. I'm sure there will be arc, maybe even strand and stasis in the future. So back to this, we shoot this first one. As you saw, I was jumping up here. We have another void one right above the door, as well as a solar one that is right off the platform. Once you shoot that, you jump back up to where you shot that second void one above the door, jump on in, collect that chest. You get a nice little bit of extra loot, some of those offerings for these Altar of Summoning, and then we can progress onto our second battle phase, which is very similar to our first one. Now, within this second battle phase, like I said, it is very similar. We are using the same mechanics as before with those crystals, just with a little different arena, as well as the center of the room is going to be glowing purple. So that void, if it's glowing purple, will suck you into the center, kind of doing weakening damage on you, allowing people to hit you a little bit harder, I believe, from what I've noticed. The arc center, when it is glowing blue, will send off almost little arc jolts around the map in linear fashions. Then you might get hit by that. You can get hit behind things, so you got to watch out for the arc one. And the same kind of thing with solar is like the Warden of Nothing when it goes into its solar explosion phase and is projecting that scorch out. Just like that, you just stay behind stuff, stay protected, and you can survive all of those battles. But again, just the same basic mechanic. Whatever is going on in that room, you might have to do the arc crystals, the void crystals, or the solar crystals. Once you do that, you'll have to defeat a boss, stand on that plate real quick, and then you will get the relic of whatever it is again, arc, solar, or void. You just rinse and repeat on each of the plates in that room with doing the damage on a certain boss. Not really in this room a certain boss spawns, but there will be an ogre that is one of those majors, so make sure to defeat that because it does hurt very, very hard. And then you just rinse and repeat, like I said, until you complete all the plates, and you move on to our second jumping puzzle, where we actually have these Hive Runes above doors, and you have to go through one of these doors to get to the right spot. It does seem, though, in this second puzzle, you can go through one of the other doors, and it still gets you to the area that you're trying to go to. But there is a little triumph for picking the right puzzle or the maze, in that sense of picking the right door each time. But you just continue jumping through each of those hive portals. You keep rising higher and higher in this spire until you get to the very, very top, where you go onto these 4 platforms. Now again, there's going to be 2 different void and 2 different solar rune symbols to shoot. They are just hanging under each of the platforms, so you can jump back and forth, shoot your solar with those orange runes, and then your void with those purple runes, and then collect your chest right before the final boss room, which again is one of 3 options that I have got, going through defeating some Lucent Hive as well as the Technocrat with the same mechanics that we have talked about before. Just going through, standing on plates, making sure you're killing all the enemies in the area to make an enemy that is immune, unimmune, whatever it may be, punching crystals, carrying crystals, shooting crystals. I've had all of them so far inside of these final rooms, as well as if you're dealing with the Lucent Hive, make sure that you are crushing those ghosts because they will come back. So there is that as well. But that is really it for the base of this activity. Like I said, new weeks, it's going to be a little rotating, so we're going to get a little new jumping puzzles, I would assume, with new runes for those secret triumphs and secret chests. But the same base mechanic will be the same, of using that crystal system to wipe out enemies, complete plates, whatever it may be in a certain room, to progress to the next one until we get to the final room, taking on certain bosses. Now, the cool thing about this is the loot at the end. We are getting a lot of those Witch Queen emblems or Season of the Witch engrams, so we can get a nice bit of loot from the helm as well. Plus, it drops a lot of loot from this season, those red borders, armors, etc., as well as the possibility with those opaque cards, which we can turn in for those major and minor accessories at the helm as well, giving us some upgrades, as well as that deck of the Whispers, which we will use inside of this mission as well with the Spire. Once you get 5 of them, you can craft your deck, which gives you some advantages inside of the activity. You can see with this, one of my teammates had that 5 where it gives you, I think it's called the blade or something like that, the witch, one of those 2 that gives ammo. I know both of them do, I just can't remember which one's special and which one is heavy, but they were creating heavy everywhere for us, so definitely grind out this to get that seasonal loot, go into Crucible, Gambit, everything like that inside of our Spire, as well as our Altar of Summoning to get those opaque cards so you can get all those upgrades, create all that heavy, whatever it may be for this, and get that nice loot. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this helped get this easy guide out for you guys so you can get all that nice juicy new season of the witch loot and get your hive on. So thank you guys so much for the support. Definitely hit up the Discord, building that up pretty big lately. Had a lot of people join, trying to make it even better, grow that LFG, grow a little bit of community. Join the YouTube channel, hit that bell, subscribe button. As always, I truly appreciate that. One-Eyed Jedi on all my socials. So I appreciate all y'all. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.